The day my son Daniel asked me for my passwords, I truly believed he was finally ready to share some of the quiet burden I had carried alone since Maria passed away. He had married Sophia 5 years earlier, and I had insisted on paying for the venue because I wanted their beginning to feel solid and meaningful, something Maria would have looked upon with that gentle, approving smile she reserved for the moments she truly treasured. I was proud of him then, proud of the young man who once gripped my hand so tightly at her funeral that I thought he would never let go. I remember the night Maria passed, how Daniel's small hand found mine in the hospital room's dim light. He didn't speak, didn't cry, just held on, as if saying he would carry this loss with me. I thought he understood what love meant. I was wrong, but pride can do strange things to perception. It can smooth over the cracks until you convince yourself they aren't there at all. 6 months ago, the little comments started slipping out in front of other people, always wrapped in that casual, almost caring tone. At the pharmacy counter, he would lean in and say to the technician, almost as an aside, "Dad gets mixed up sometimes. Just let me handle the payment." At the bank, he would step forward and murmur to the teller, "He forgets things now. I'll fill out the deposit slip for him." I never pushed back in those moments. I smiled politely, nodded, let him take the pen from my fingers. I told myself he was being thoughtful, that he was trying to spare me embarrassment or confusion. I didn't want to be the stubborn old man who turns every small kindness into a fight. I didn't realize then that he wasn't protecting my dignity. He was building a story, one that would make what came next look like love instead of theft. The first rail warning came at 11:14 p.m. on a Thursday. My banking app suddenly lit up the darkness of the bedroom, where I was lying awake reading the same mystery paperback Maria had left on the nightstand the week before she passed away, her bookmark still resting exactly where she had stopped on page 187. The notification read, "New device logged in from IP address in your city. Approve or deny." I tapped deny without hesitation. 30 seconds later, another message appeared. "Access request denied. Confirm identity." Then my email chimed softly. "Password reset requested for your Apple ID. If this wasn't you, secure your account immediately." I sat up slowly in the bed. The room was completely dark except for the cold blue light from the phone screen washing over my face. My pulse rose, not frantic, but steady and deliberate, like an old engine that had been idle for too long finally beginning to turn over. I did not reply to any of the alerts. I did not call Daniel. I simply watched. At 6:22 a.m. the phone vibrated again. A text from Daniel. "Dad, your accounts got flagged for suspicious activity overnight. We're resetting them from our end to protect you. Send your recovery codes when you wake up. It's temporary. D." No greeting. No inquiry about how I had slept. Just codes. I stared at the message until the screen went dark. I did not send them. By 8:47 a.m. my banking app had logged me out permanently. The email followed almost immediately. Primary recovery address changed to daniel.hunt@securemail.com. Cloud storage came next. Access revoked. Files no longer synced to this device. The smart thermostat in the living room. Owner verification failed. Temperature set to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Even the grocery delivery app. Account suspended. Payment method removed. I walked downstairs to Maria's kitchen table and sat in the chair she always preferred, the one closest to the window, so she could watch the birds while she drank her tea. The house felt colder than it should have. Not because of the thermostat they had lowered without my knowledge. Because of the silence that had moved in and made itself comfortable, as though it had always belonged there. Daniel called at 10:19 a.m. I let it ring 4 times before I answered. His voice was calm, measured, almost gentle, the tone people use when they are explaining something obvious to someone who is no longer capable of understanding. "Dad, we had to take control. Your phone's compromised. You're clicking bad links, leaving accounts open. You're a security risk we can't afford anymore." I kept my voice low. "You changed everything without telling me." Sophia's voice came through the speaker in the background, calm and certain. "We're protecting the family. You don't understand how dangerous it is out there." Daniel spoke again. "Dad, we're just trying to make sure you're safe." He paused, long enough that I could hear him breathing on the other end. Then he added quietly, almost tenderly, "You know I love you." And then the blade, slow, deliberate, deeper than any knife. "You're not reliable online anymore, Dad. You're a liability we can't afford. Honestly, you're like outdated software taking up space in the system. Slow, clunky, always one step behind, always needing updates you never get. We wish you just uninstall yourself completely. It would simplify everything so much if you weren't part of the network anymore. You're dragging us down, holding us back, making every single day harder than it needs to be. You're not a father anymore. You're dead weight that still thinks it's alive. We can't keep carrying someone who doesn't even realize he's already gone. You're a ghost in our lives, a ghost we have to feed and house and pretend is still useful. We're tired of the performance. We're tired of you. You're nothing now. Just a name on a bill that needs to be removed. Just dead weight pulling us under, and we're done pretending otherwise. You're not even worth the electricity you use. You're a relic, a broken piece of hardware we keep tripping over. We should have recycled you years ago." The line went dead. I placed the phone face down on the table. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I simply sat there until the room became too quiet to endure. That night, I went to the attic. I pulled out the old laptop Marcus had given me 2 years earlier when I first mentioned that Daniel was asking too many questions about my passwords. Marcus, my brother in arms since basic training, the man who dragged me out of a burning vehicle in '91, had taught me things most people never learn. We built a shadow life together. A burner phone hidden in a Faraday pouch. A separate laptop with a permanent VPN connection. An encrypted external drive. A shadow email chain. And the monitoring demon Marcus coded for me. Every single login attempt, every password change, every file move on my main account was captured. IP address, device fingerprint, exact timestamp, even the browser version and mouse movements. I had given Daniel limited access months earlier to help with bills. That was his doorway in. He walked through it. Now I would walk through his, slowly, deliberately, without haste. My hand hovered over the command button for a long time. This was my son, the boy who used to fall asleep on my chest during thunderstorms. The boy who cried at Maria's funeral and held my hand so tightly I thought he would never let go. I sat in the attic for an hour, waiting for him to call back, waiting for him to choose me. He didn't. That silence became the point of no return. I began with what Marcus called soft isolation. Over 3 days, I adjusted the main bank logins, so they now require my fingerprint on the burner device only. Their devices received endless, invalid credentials, errors, no dramatic alert, just quiet, endless failure. They didn't notice immediately. They would. I let the demon continue collecting. Every time Daniel logged into my portal from his phone. Every time Sophia moved a folder in my cloud drive. Every time they updated the smart home code. On day 5, the demon stopped reporting for nearly 6 hours. My stomach dropped. I thought they'd found it. I thought they had cut me off completely. Then it came back online. They hadn't found it. They had simply stopped hiding. That realization was colder than any thermostat they could set. I waited. Week 9. They changed the smart home master code again. I used the backdoor Marcus had left in the family plan I originally created. I flipped the admin rights. Their phones lost control of lights, locks, cameras, thermostat. Their Ring app. Device not found. Their garage door. Stuck closed. They were trapped in their own condo. They still thought it was a glitch. They called tech support. Support told them admin privileges were revoked by the original owner. They called me. I didn't answer. I started small chargebacks on the transfers they made using my card. One by one. Each one flagged as fraud. The bank began sending inquiry letters. Daniel's name appeared on every single one. His company ran a routine background check. They found the fraud flags. He was let go quietly. Sophia's freelance clients began to drop after whispers spread in their network. That afternoon, I went to the pharmacy. Maria's last prescription refill was ready. I handed my card. It declined. The pharmacist lowered her voice, almost embarrassed. "Do you have another form of payment, sir?" I didn't. I stood there holding the bag, feeling the weight of every pill Maria never got to take. I walked home empty-handed. I sat at Maria's table and tried to remember the last time Daniel had called just to talk. Not to fix something, not to manage something, not to remind me of something I had supposedly forgotten. Just to talk, to tell me about his day, to ask about mine, to fill the silence with something that was an obligation. I searched for the memory carefully, the way you search for something fragile that must still exist somewhere. But the harder I looked, the clearer it became. It wasn't misplaced. It was gone. That realization didn't arrive with anger. It arrived quietly, like a hairline fracture in glass that spreads without sound. The last time we spoke, he hadn't raised his voice. He didn't need to. "Dad, this isn't about you anymore," he said. "It's about what's practical." Practical, as if I were a leaking roof, or an outdated appliance that consumed too much energy to justify repair. That night the thermostat dropped again. 55 degrees. Maria used to get sick in the cold. I stared at the screen. My hand hovered over the final command. Then I pressed it. Not for the money. For the right to exist without permission. That night, the phone rang. Daniel. I watched it vibrate across Maria's table. It rang again. And again. On a fourth call, I answered. He wasn't calm anymore. "Dad, something's wrong." His voice trembled. "Our accounts. Everything is locked. My work VPN won't connect. The bank flagged us. The mortgage payment bounced." A pause. Then Sophia's voice broke in, no longer steady. "We can't access anything. The lights keep turning off by themselves. The door won't open. We're locked in our own home." Daniel came back on. "Dad, please just unlock it. This has gone too far." Silence stretched. Then the word he had used returned, smaller now. "Please don't do this. We didn't mean to hurt you." I said nothing. Sophia again, this time crying. "We're sorry. We were just trying to manage things. Please, we need groceries. The cards are declining. We need you to fix this." Daniel's voice cracked. "You're our father. Please. We need you. Not. We love you. Not. We're sorry. We need you." The line filled with quiet breathing. Waiting. Hoping. I placed the phone back on the table and did not answer again. Right here, if this story is making your stomach turn, if you've ever felt someone slowly rewriting your right to exist, type karma in the comments. And tell me where you're watching from. Your words keep these stories breathing. If these cold tales of betrayal and the patient justice that answers are gripping you, please subscribe. Hit the bell. More come every day. Stories that prove silence can be the longest weapon. 2 weeks later, there was a knock on my door. Not a call, not a message. A knock. Slow, uneven. I opened it. Daniel stood there. Not the confident man who once spoke about practicality. Not the calm voice who had called me deadweight. Just a tired man in a wrinkled shirt that didn't fit anymore. Shoulders hunched, as if the weight he once called me had finally settled on him. Eyes red-rimmed and hollow. Hair unwashed. The kind of exhaustion that comes when sleep has become a luxury. Sophia stood behind him, silent, her eyes swollen from too many sleepless nights, her coat pulled tight around her like she was trying to hold herself together, lips pressed into a thin line to keep the trembling from showing. Daniel didn't speak at first. He just looked at me, as if searching for the version of me he had already erased. Then his voice broke. "Dad, we lost the condo." Silence. "We're being evicted." He swallowed hard. And then came the line he never imagined he would say. "You're not the burden." A pause. "We were." His shoulders shook. "I was." Sophia's hand tightened around his sleeve. Daniel stepped forward. And for the first time since he was a boy, he lowered himself. Not fully. Not yet. But enough. "Please, we don't need access anymore." His voice cracked. "We just need somewhere to go." I looked at him for a long time. At the man who once wished I would uninstall myself. And quietly asked, "Am I still deadweight?" Daniel's head dropped. And this time, he went all the way down. His knees hit the porch step. He stayed there, head bowed, shoulders shaking. The man who once called me a ghost now reduced to one himself. Sophia covered her mouth with her hand, tears slipping between her fingers. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just watched the two of them, the couple who had once stood tall in my kitchen and told me I was nothing, now broken on my doorstep. I closed the door, quietly, firmly. and turn the lock. 6 months later, I wake up to my own alarms, notifications from accounts no one else touches. I make coffee, sit at Maria's table, open my secure tablet. Photos of her load instantly. Her at the coast, wind in her hair. I scroll slowly. No one can delete them now. I walk every morning. Neighbors nod. I fix the lady next door's router. She brings me soup. I run an online group for seniors. How to spot digital overreach. They call me the one who saw it coming. I smile more than I used to. Daniel and Sophia lost the condo. Foreclosure. Moved to a basement rental. Daniel's name is flagged in every background check. No new job. Sophia's freelance dried up. They barely speak. He sent one last message. I understand what I did. There's no coming back. I read it. Deleted it. No reply. Daniel never asked for forgiveness. Only access. 6 months ago, he asked for my passwords. Now, he doesn't even have my number. And I don't answer unknown calls anymore. Some nights I sit in the dark, look at the city glow outside the window Maria loved, and think, they try to force log out my life. But I'm still here. Betrayal today doesn't need drama or tears. It arrives in a notification. Silent, patient, absolute. But justice can arrive the same way. If this story lingered, if it made you check your own recovery email or call someone you trust, please subscribe. Like if the ending felt earned. Share your story in the comments. We read everyone. More is coming. Thank you for staying until the connection held.